Hey everyone, this is Nick from Mecha Warehouse, and today we're back with weekly update number 101. Let's just get right into it. We'll kick things off with week in review. So we're talking about what's been going on this week, things that are coming up, and stuff like that. And I guess first off, it's been a bit of a calmer week. Not quite just like relaxed, everything's happy and easy, but a lot of the pressure's off, I think, because I guess first and foremost, we got a lot of the check-in done for the week done over the weekend. Kate and I came in, Tyler came and joined us. We all put in like 6 hours or so, I think, on Saturday and managed to get a lot of the stuff that was due to be checked in. So it was less work to do during the week. We're still trying our best to get caught up. The God Gundam pre-orders really set us behind in terms of packing orders like we kind of expected. Filming this on Thursday, as of right now, I think achieving the state of being caught up is possible today, meaning that we'll get through all the orders placed before noontime today, because our goal is to ship every order placed before noon in a given day and be caught up like that. So fingers crossed we'll be there. I don't think it's unachievable. If we aren't there, we'll be pretty darn close. Part of being behind, I think, is a function of the restock. This past week we had a display restock. I think there's still a bunch of that stuff in stock, although some items definitely sold out pretty fast, some of the newer ones, for example. But that stuff, the display orders seem to tend to drive more difficult orders to pack, or maybe more accurately, more difficult orders to pick, because people are buying, hold on, Nick Savory. So the display orders tend to drive more complex orders. People are buying one each of all the different sizes in a particular set of products that came out, or they're just getting a bunch of different tools. So it means instead of picking and packing an order with maybe like 3 to 5 items, we might be picking and packing orders that have 20 plus items depending on the order, and it just bogs things down a little bit. So Friday was a relatively slow day packing wise for us. We had plenty of orders, but and not even Friday, because it wasn't until Monday, I think, that we were packing display items. Once we started packing Friday's orders with the restock, it definitely started slowing us down a little bit, and I think we're back to kind of normal rate. In other news, we're making progress on interviewing for that part-time media position. We've interviewed 2 people as of this morning. We've got another interview lined up this afternoon, and with some luck, we'll have the candidate we need to feel confident to make a decision and maybe make a hire, and maybe have somebody starting on Monday. Fingers crossed, we'll see. The other new thing this week, I think it was Friday, we got our studio signs in, which is great. They came out great. They're acrylic signs. We've got a sign on 2 separate walls in the studio, which means they'll be great for the backdrop when we shoot videos. We're hopefully going to do a gunpla news video. We'll probably shoot it tomorrow and post it up Tuesday or Wednesday next week, covering the new Verka release that was just announced. The new MGSD, I think, was the name of the new line, as well as the other new releases and other related announcements that just came out. So stay tuned for that. And with that said, let's move on to pre-orders. So this week, we added 4 new pre-orders to the site. The one I'm most excited about, from Good Smile, the Motoroid Big O. So if you were a Toonami era kid like I was, Big O was a TV show at the time, and it had a really interesting kind of aesthetic and a very interesting mecha design to it. So really excited to have a kit available for that. A lot of people have been asking about a kit of that mecha, and we've got one coming now. So I'd grab that pre-order if you're interested, because I'm sure they'll sell pretty fast. We also got 3 another Good Smile, the Chitosirium Platinum 1.5, so another girl kind of kit. Kotobukiya, we got a King of Braves Geo Gaigar cross frame girl. So this is a Geo Gaigar mash up with the girl kind of setup. And then we also got the Mega Man X Rockman X full armor. So another Kotobukiya kit might be worth checking out. Pre-orders are done, so let's go do restocks. Restocks. First up, let's do high grades. We've got a bunch of HG IBO kits. Gundam Barbatos Lupus Rex. We've had this one in stock. Looks like we got some of the IO frame Shiden. People were asking about this. That sword looks pretty cool. I don't know anything about this one. We've got the Cyclase Schwab's Custom. I think we've had this one in stock too, so this must be topping off a bit. Fusion Rebake Full City. This one's come around a few times in the last year, I think. Got two more here. The Sigrun, we've had this one in stock as well, so this must be a top off. And then finally the Asmodee, also I believe a top off. I think they've been in stock. Next up are a bunch from G Gundam. Seems like one of the things Bandai does whenever there's a new big release is re-release and reprint a lot of kits from that same series. So they've done a bunch of the older high grades from the G Gundam series, as well as a few no-grade kits. So no-grade, there are the Bolt Gundam and Shining Gundam. I'm gonna caution you ahead of time that these are not like the high grades you're used to. Color separation is probably not as good. There's probably a lot of stickers to get whatever color separation there is. And they're not quite the same experience, but if you want a challenge, they might be interesting. High grades are also really old. These are original copyright 1994, so almost 30-year-old kits, which is just kind of crazy to think about. We got the Rising Gundam, the Dragon Gundam, and the Gundam Maxter. So these are all older prints, older designs, but you know, a good chance to get some of the other designs from G Gundam if you're into that stuff. We also got a bunch of UC high grades, top off on the gun tank. We got the original RGM-79 Jim. Zaku 2, we got two different versions of the Zaku 2. The really old HGUC 40, which is a kit that I typically don't recommend because I didn't like it. It's one of the few kits that wasn't really solid. And then the much newer 241 that has a lot of improvements. There is a significant price difference, I think, between the two, kind of covering those differences. HGGPO1, and then the Rick Dom 2, which has me interested because I've been on a Dom kick lately, design-wise. So interesting looking kit. Gotta love Dom. Finally, we got the HG G Gundam. This is the one that, you know, goes opposite of the Penelope. We've got plenty of the Penelope in stock, so might be a good chance to grab a Penelope if you don't have one to go with your G Gundam. And then we got a couple HG 00 kits, the high grade Virtue and the high grade Kyrios as well. And then finally, we've got some more of the high grade Johound from Anime Warrior at the Borderline. Cool, let's do Master Grades next. Master Grades, first up, Master Grade Dynamez. We've had this one in stock. We only got a few more added to the stock, but we've had a pretty deep stock on it, but it's worth mentioning because it's a solid kit from everything I've heard. We've got two versions of the Sinju in this week. The Sinju Stein Verka. I really like the Stein and those colorations rather than the red version myself. But we also got the animation color version of the Sinju. Okay numbers on both. They'll probably go pretty fast though, so both of those are worth jumping on. We got more of the Master Grade Goof Custom. We got even less than we did last time, so these will last like that. So if you want one, grab it really fast. Master Grade Jim. I think we had this one earlier this year at the other warehouse probably. So those are back around, and keeping with the G Gundam theme of reprints, the MG Master Gundam is back as well. I think we still have the Master Grade God Gundam in stock as well. Few other ones here. We got the Zaku 2 Black Tri-Stars version. Last time we had these, maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago, they sold out super fast. We got more this time than we did that time. I don't suspect they'll last very long, but we did get enough that I don't think we'll be limiting them like super hard like last time. We also got a very small number of the Master Grade Phoenix Gundam. If you want one of these, I wouldn't wait super long, just because we don't have a super deep stock of them this time around. Two big ones back in stock as well. The Virtue, this was the big new release of last year, Master Grade wise. We got a good number of these. I don't know how long they'll last. And then we also got a top off on the Sazabi Verka. We've got a bunch in stock, and now we've got more in stock. But always a good kit to consider. They're perennially popular, and for good reason. It's a solid kit. Let's do real grades next. Bunch of real grades this week. First up, we got 2 of the Ava real grades back in stock, Unit 1 and Unit 00. The Ava real grades have been very popular in general. I think they're supposed to be really solid kits. Haven't built them myself, but they are kind of nice from what I hear. We got 2 real grades, the Zaku 2 and Freedom Gundam, both earlier real grades. Haven't built either of them myself, so I don't have too much else to say. And then we got 3 newer real grades. New Gundam I think we've had in stock, so we got topped off again this week. So always worth getting. We also have the High New Gundam back in stock. This one's been super popular when we've had it. They've just going at a constant clip. We should have them in stock for at least a little while, but it might be a great chance to grab one. I can't wait to build mine. And then finally, the real grade Sazabi. We've received these a few times in the last couple weeks, I think, and they haven't lasted super long when they've come in because the numbers have been really low. That's not a problem this week. We got a ton in, so if you want one, now is your chance to get one. We should have them in stock for a while, and it goes very nicely with the real grade New Gundam. And let's do the rest of the stuff. So last up, we got some 30-minute missions, 30-minute sisters, etc. So 30-minute missions, we got the customized weapons, fantasy weapon in stock, the option parts, set 9, a large booster unit. It's like basically a really large backpack. Could probably be used in a bunch of ways for some cool customization of a build. Spinacia Commando type, back in stock I think. Spinacio Ninja type. We got the Forestieri 01. I think we just got these in for the first time last week, so I think this is some additional inventory that arrived. We got 30-minute sisters. This is the Farfarina conductor form. An interesting design if you're into the 30-minute sisters line. We also got some of the body parts, A02 color A and G03 color B. So if you need parts for customization there, we got some of those in as well. We got 4 different action bases. I think they're all topping off this week. 5 black and clear, as well as 1 white and black. I think we've had these all in stock, but always a good time to get more action bases because they're just useful. You always want one or need one when you don't have one. Star Wars, we got this Millennium Falcon. I think this is a no-scale, super small version of it, but it might be a little cool desk piece. We've got two Gundam decals I think came in this week. The RG New Gundam and RG Sazabi. So if you're picking up either of those and want the official Bandai Gundam decals, we have those. We got the Arceus. I'm going to top off of these. I think we've had it in stock. We've got a ton of other Pokemon kits too. So if you're like this or into this, there's tons of options that have come in recently. Some new releases as well as some other ones we've had in stock for a while. We also got some more system bases. These are great way to display your high grades or smaller master grades, and good for setting up a scene on your shelf, like a hanger. We also got a ton of Gundam builder parts. I won't go through all of these. There's probably more than what are here. We've got the MS sight lens. These are like lenses and such. Might be good for adding to weapons or other customizations. We've got various hands. MS Hand 04, I think we've got some others in stock as well. We've got MS Sword 01, so those are some sword parts. If you want to make or need a large sword for a build. We've got more MS sight lenses. These ones are green, the other ones are pink, I think. We've got MS Vernier 03, so those are verniers and related parts for building out like various thrusters and vents and things like that. If you want to add detail to a build. MS Detail 01, so looks like just more detail parts of various types. We've got Power Up Wing 01, so these are some wings you could add, more hands, spikes. These might be interesting. So there's a set of plastic spikes if you want to add spikes or change out the spikes, say on a Zaku or something. We've got some options there. More hands. MS Armor, so this looks like this is extra armor parts if you want to up armor your Gundam, so to speak, and give it kind of an extra armor kind of look to it. And then looks like finally Radome 01, so if you want to add a Radome type antenna system to your kit, it's a good way as well. We've got a ton of other ones that we've had in stock or may have just received that maybe didn't get picked for whatever reason. So definitely worth checking out. And I think that's it for Restocks this week. Okay, so those are the Restocks. Let's move on to Q&A. We've got a bunch of questions this week. Try to be quick about them so we can get through all of them. All right, first up, 0195. Going over the releases and finding out that the Unicorn, Banshee, and Sinju have both regular and Verka MG, yet no Kshatriya MG. Missed opportunity since the HG sells so well. Since it looks like Bandai is slowed on the MG releases, do you think they'll ever do a more bombastic, huge MG kit in the vein of the Perfect Zeong or the Deep Striker? Well, the Deep Striker already has a kit. I don't think it's been printed in a couple of years, but there is a Deep Striker kit. They've definitely done a few really big designs as MGs. Sazabi, for example. RE100 isn't an MG, but there's an RE100 Nightingale, which is another huge kit from what I understand. So I think there is possibilities of them doing them. There's definitely probably more hesitancy because they're probably very expensive kits to make, very expensive in terms of lots of molds that need to be made, and everybody doesn't really have the budget. And given the current global financial climate, I have a feeling if they do those kits, that might not be right now, but who knows? They've done all sorts of things to surprise me. Next up, 808 Johnster. Hey Nick, thanks for answering my question. Now I have a fun one for you and the Mecha Squad. Across all the Gundam timelines and series, what mobile suits would you like to see go on a 1v1 battle? And as a bonus question, what grunt suits would you want to go on a 3v3? I don't know. I mean, I'm not really big on these mashing up from different timelines because I don't think there's a one-to-one comparison. Like, it'd be interesting to see a bunch of Gundam Wing stuff go against UC stuff, for example, but I don't think it would be a one-to-one comparison. I feel like the average grunt in the UC timeline would absolutely trash a grunt in the AC timeline just because of the relative strengths and everything that I see between those two series. I feel like a wing, like the Wing Gundam versus, say, I don't know, a new Gundam would be an interesting one, but it's hard to really compare, so I have no idea how that would play out. That's probably like a cop-out answer, but that's probably, I think, the best I can do right now. RDD and Q&A, what's been the most surprising big seller this year? What's been the biggest disappointment? I don't know if anything's really surprised me in terms of being a big seller. I don't know that there's anything that just sold super well more than I thought. And like, we kind of know whether it's going to be a good seller or not based on what the cuts end up being. If something gets cut a lot, it's usually going to sell pretty well. And if it doesn't get cut a lot, we kind of know it's not going to do as well in theory because it means everybody else ordered less of them and everybody's predictions tend to add up to the right answer most of the time. I will say that a few of the 30-minute missions kits, Reaver Nova, Garda Nova, and the like, I thought were going to be really popular and didn't seem to be as popular as I thought they would be. You know, is what it is. I still think they're good-looking kits, so maybe there will be a resurgence on that. Next up, from Plastic Germs, do you believe in the you get what you pay for? If so, what would you recommend on spending a little more money on a hobby tool? So I definitely fit into that category. I think you get what you pay for. I'm big on not buying really cheap stuff because you buy the really cheap stuff and it tends to break and not do as well. That said, I drive a Toyota. I don't drive a, insert expensive car company brand here. So there's I think a line that you pay for what you get, and then at some point you're paying for the brand. So, God Hand versus Disbay, they're both relatively comparable. One is significantly more expensive. That doesn't mean that the God Hands aren't worth it. It just means that there are certain places where you can afford to not go all the way and still get as good or close to as good, and it's worthwhile. I'm trying to think, where's a place? So like, for example, you could think about paintbrushes. You could buy really cheap paintbrushes and you'll use them and you'll probably ruin them after painting one or two things with them and then need to buy new ones. The fact that they were only 50 cents or $1 or whatever makes it kind of worthwhile to do that. On the flip side, you could spend 15 or 20 bucks on a paintbrush and not ever have to replace it because it's good. It's not going to have the same degradation if you take care of it. And you might even be able to recondition it because it's made of better materials and things like that, and get a much longer lifespan and better results out of it. Now, whether one's worth it to you depends on how well you take care of it. If you think you're going to buy something and absolutely abuse it, especially the first one, like airbrushes, for example, good airbrush should be better than a cheap airbrush. If you buy a really good one, but you know you're going to trash it because you don't know what you're doing and you don't feel confident that you can treat it right, buy the really cheap one and ruin that one first before you buy the expensive one and figure out what you need to do. So hopefully that's helpful. A fun question, what is your prediction on what MS, the MG, SD, and next Verka will be? I don't feel like I can answer this question, if only because I saw what the actual answers are since they got announced last night. So I'm not even going to answer this one because my predictions would come true now that I know all the information. Blazer VX, is there a place you make some sort of announcement that you are going to events? I definitely have to go next year. Not officially. I think I mention it in the weekly update sometimes. I've mentioned it on the Discord at times. On the stream, I definitely talk about it. So there's no official places I'm going list and events I'm doing. Maybe there should be. That might be worthwhile for people that want to meet up and stuff like that. I'll put some thought into that. Maybe we'll do some sort of list somewhere, upcoming events where you can find members of the Mecha Warehouse team or something like that. Okay, next question, Depeche. Holy smokes, was there only one Kshatriya? I think I grabbed the last one. 100 was very special to me. So great question. So on the Kshatriya, we received 2. I thought we were going to receive more when I posted it on incoming on Discord, and we did not. I don't know if I had a dyslexic moment and looked at the wrong numbers on the spreadsheet, but we only got 2. The plan was to not even post them, but in the chaos of Friday morning, I did. So they went up, they sold super fast. We have hundreds of the high-grade Kshatriya on order and expected in the next few months. So if you've missed out on one, I would just be prepared to get one when they come around. They will come back around and we will have good numbers and likely will last more than the few minutes that these small restocks do. Great. So next one, Dan Bowman. Okay, Nick, what brand of coffee is that? Seems to be working very well, or working real well. So I think he's referring to, I was mentioning how I was kind of perked up last week. It wasn't coffee, it was actually a combination of tea and Excedrin, because I woke up with a headache. Excedrin's got, 100 milligrams of caffeine, I think, between the 2 I took, and then the tea. So I was very, very caffeinated, and it worked well. But I don't think taking Excedrin for the sake of taking Excedrin is a good thing. Brett S., what's your favorite Pokemon, Nick? I don't know, Pikachu, I guess. I'm not really super into Pokemon, but I'll have to go with the easy answer on that one. And Drew Yerger, Dojo, what style? So also, I think, referring to something I said in the last week's weekly update. So I've been training in Kyokushin Karate for 20-something years, probably 26, 27, 28, something like that. I run a school here in New Hampshire, and that's some of the stuff that occupies my time when I'm not here. Okay, I think that's it for questions this week. If you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it next week. Thank you for watching. See you next time.